When you think of stainless steel, you probably imagine shiny kitchen sinks, rust-free cutlery, or those dazzling skyscrapers that mirror the sky. It's one of those materials so common, so reliable, that we rarely stop to wonder where it came from. Tough, polished, indestructible. But here's the twist. Stainless steel, the very backbone of our modern world, was never the result of a grand scientific plan. It began with a simple accident, a lucky moment of curiosity that would reshape industries forever. Today, we're uncovering the remarkable story of how stainless steel was born and how this unexpected discovery transformed the way we live. Before stainless steel, humanity had a constant enemy: rust. Iron was strong and useful, but once it met air and water, corrosion began its slow, destructive work. Imagine bridges crumbling, tools weakening, and weapons failing at the worst possible moment. For centuries, inventors and scientists tried to fight rust, coating, painting, mixing metals, but nothing truly worked. By the dawn of the 20th century, the world's growing industries needed something better. Ships, trains, and kitchens all cried out for a metal that could last. The problem was clear. The solution was waiting, in a small laboratory in Sheffield, England. Harry Brearley was born in 1871 in Sheffield, a city already famous for its steel. His story began humbly, washing bottles in a steelworks lab when he was just 12 years old. But fascination became passion, and passion turned him into one of England's most skilled metallurgists. By 1907, Brearley was hired by Brown Firth Laboratories to solve a very specific problem: gun barrels that wore out too quickly. The heat and pressure from repeated firing caused the metal to erode, making weapons unreliable. His task wasn't about rust, it was about endurance. So he began mixing iron with carbon and experimenting with other elements, searching for strength. Among those elements was chromium, a material used mostly for pigments and decoration, but never seriously considered for steel. Then came 1913. Brearley created a new alloy, about 12.8% chromium and very little carbon. When he examined his test samples days later, he noticed something odd. Unlike other pieces of steel lying around the lab, these samples didn't rust. Days passed, weeks passed, still no rust. He hadn't set out to stop corrosion. Yet here it was, right in front of him. Brearley realized he'd stumbled upon something extraordinary, a metal that resisted rust entirely. And that simple curiosity, why doesn't this steel corrode, opened the door to a revolution. Interestingly, Brearley's first thought wasn't about weapons at all. It was about cutlery. Sheffield's knife industry constantly battled rust. A clean knife could stain or rust in just a few hours. So Brearley tested his new alloy for kitchen use, and the results were stunning. It didn't rust. It stayed sharp. It stayed beautiful. He called it rustless steel, but that didn't sound quite elegant. The name soon evolved into stainless steel, practical, modern, and catchy. And once Sheffield's manufacturers started using it, the world quickly followed. Stainless steel spread fast, from kitchen knives to surgical instruments, from factories to architecture. Its secret lay in its invisible armor, a microscopic film of chromium oxide that formed when the metal met air. That thin, transparent layer stopped rust in its tracks, and if scratched, it healed itself. That's why stainless steel seems almost immortal. Yet, despite his breakthrough, Brearley never became rich from it. Patent disputes and rival experiments in Germany from scientists like Eduard Maurer and Benno Strauss meant credit was shared. But history remembers Harry Brearley as the man who brought stainless steel to the global stage in 1913. Today, Sheffield still honors him as a local hero. Without his accidental discovery, modern life, from hospitals to skyscrapers, would look very different. The story of stainless steel reminds us that not every great invention begins with a grand plan. Sometimes, it starts with a small question. Why didn't this rust? Brearley was looking for a tougher gun barrel. Instead, he gave the world a material that reshaped civilization. So next time you pick up a stainless steel spoon, open your fridge, or walk past a gleaming tower, remember, this miracle of modern engineering was born from an accident, a curious mind, and a bit of luck. If you enjoyed this story, let us know what discovery you'd like us to explore next. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fascinating stories